We're gonna have to start without any sound effects. I'm sitting up here trying to wait for this computer to pop up for these sound effects, and we not getting nothing. I'm not getting any sound effects. I guess my mythical animals on strike. The band that I got playing for the show in the morning is on strike. Nobody is responding to me at this point in time. I don't know whether that's because I cut their ambrosia rations or what. But y'all know the rules. Drink your water. I don't even have the music for the song. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I got any effects. Okay. I got a very few effects. Alright, let's see. Alright, here we go. You are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Media. So Spreaker could hear that pretty well, but they couldn't hear my voice. Y'all could hear my voice, but y'all couldn't really hear the sound effects. And I'm sitting up here trying to wonder what's going on with my computer equipment, which is all cool. But so family, I want to do this toast with you. So we gonna look like it's coming up slowly but surely. But before we get all into that, let's have a small discussion. Small discussion. All right. I'll try not to yell. You know, I can't make no promises. You know what I'm saying? But hey, what we gonna do? I got an article here from the Philadelphia Tribune. Without reforms, because this is kind of what I be talking about. It kind of be bothering me, right? It bothers me. You know, I know y'all like, Brother Hatim, why do you read it if it bothers you? It don't bother me in a way where I want to ignore it. It bothers me in a way that I have to find a way to fix it. I have to come up with a way to fix it, or we as a group have to come up with a way to fix it, right? So the Philadelphia Tribune did a story. The article was written by a person by the name of Charlene Crowell. All right, without reforms, black wealth faces a grim future. Let's go through this real quick. For years, and particularly in recent months, major news outlets have heralded the nation's robust economic recovery. From rising corporate profits to lower unemployment or rising stock prices on Wall Street, many consumers might conclude that financial stability not only returned after the Great Recession, but continues to climb. But for people of color, specifically black America. Now, I'm interested in the black America, right? And I constantly warn you about letting people group us, right? Because what happens is they group us in with everybody. So they just say peoples of color, which in a sense weakens every group, especially the black group, right? And when I say black, I'm talking about those individuals who are descendant of captivity or slavery. Some people call it DOS. Sometimes you hear me use the term DOS, but I want us to be very clear that we can't allow for what we're going through to be lumped in with everybody else, because then you start missing the numbers, right? You start missing the numbers. So what's being played on us is a number game. The state of the economy has not recovered. Instead of low employment, many who were laid off during the foreclosure crisis that was in 2008 today are unemployed and cope with paychecks that lead to more month than money. Recent college graduates remain living with their parents, often due to burdensome student debt and delays them setting up their own household. And according to a recent report by the Federal Reserve, a single $400 unexpected expense led to borrowing selling something or not being able to pay for 4 in 10 adults last year. So 4 out of 10 adults, if they were hit by an expense that cost over $400, you know what I'm saying, they wasn't able to pay it. All right, this is black folk, right? Well, actually, they lumped it in. But, you know, if that is how that group is doing, we always catch the hell on the bottom of that, because I want y'all to listen. These seldom unacknowledged financial disparities emerged during the testimony at a Capitol Hill hearing during August 21st. That was 7 days ago. A subcommittee of the U.S. Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions heard and learned about how a history of economic exclusion. See, now, family, we have to understand, when they start, especially with this economic exclusion, you have to stand up as a member of the group that you belong to, right? Because this disparagingly affected us, right? It was focused and designed to affect us. I'm talking about your grandfather. I'm talking your father. If you're my age, your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother. A lot of this stuff was put in place to directly affect black folks in America. All right? Economic exclusion combined with a more recent wealth shift to the top 10% of income earners leads to a bleak financial future for black folks. They say people of color, though. I'm just throwing that out there. Scott Estrada, Federal Advocacy Director for the Center for Responsible Lending, testified to the fear, anxiety, and despair facing millions of Americans as they look toward a financial future plagued with uncertainty and loss. Citing data from multiple and recent research reports, Estrada noted a still growing economic divide that has worsened since the Great Recession. Today, the wealthiest 10% now own 76% of the nation's wealth. And the median net, now, I want you to just think about that. 10%. If we say it's 250 million people in the United States of America, 10% own 76% of the wealth. Right? That's like at my school. We have 4 major things that you could play on. I have a school of 600, right? That means that out of those things that you could play on, 24%, my fault, 24% of the kids will only be able to play on the slide because they don't own the other ones. They don't have access to the other ones. But 60 of the kids, right? So 60 out of the 600. So 540 have to share a slide in the playground, right? And 10% of the school, or 60 students, could play with the other 4 things. They get on the little spilling thing. They could jump on the bars and climb. They could do all that. And then on top of that, if they want to, they could jump on the slide, right? That's how it's working here in America, right? 76% of the toys are over there, right? 24% of the toys, or what's left over, are over here, right? And that's what we're facing. Citing data from multiple recent research reports, Estrada noted there's still growing economic divide that has worsened since the Great Recession. Today, the wealthiest 10% now own 76% of the nation's wealth, and the median net worth of blacks and Latinos is $11,000 and $14,000. Now, I want you to look at this, right? Because I want you to listen to the words I say next, because they try to confuse you, because you read and you say, okay, 11,000, 14,000, respectively. Further, respectively, right? So if you look at it, blacks are 11,000, Latinos have 14,000. Brother Kwame says, great Kujichagulia fam, all the way from Rome, Georgia, and about to head back to Columbus. So tell Diana to stop her madness and all make it a great day. You heard him, Diane. Shut it down. Shut the madness down. Furthermore, because when they say respectively, they, it's like in that order. So you got blacks and Latinos, 11,000 and 14,000 respectively. So blacks have $11,000 respectively. Further, the May 2018 Federal Reserve Report on Economic Well-Being of U.S. Households in 2017 found that fewer than 40% of adults feel they are on track to retire with adequate savings, and 25% have no retirement savings at all. For households of color, the Great Recession erased economic progress made over the past 3 decades in their entirety. So, if we just look at 2000, let's say it happened in 2008, right? It erased all the progress 30 years before 2008. So all of the progress that we made, because and just understand what that means. All of the progress supposedly that we made during civil rights was erased with this housing crisis, with this Great Recession. You understand what I'm saying? Do you not? Do we not hear this? And we run around. It's like this is we oblivious to this. All of the gains, all of the economic gains, all of the come-ups that was made by families in the 70s and possibly 80s, right, has been erased with the Great Recession, which started in about 2008. For House of Color, the Great Recession erased the economic progress made over the past 3 decades in their entirety, said Estrada. If current trends continue, it will take 228 years for the average black family to reach the level of wealth white families own today. For the average Latino family, matching the wealth of white families will take 84 years. You see the danger of being dropped in the same boat with everybody else? 228 years compared to 84 years. Asians ain't even on here. Indians ain't even on here, and I'm talking about Indians from India. All right, CeeLo says, we need to put together our festival dates for next year and get them to all potential vendors and give them a date by which fees are due for each festival. Juneteenth happening. Uh-oh. I guess what what Miss CeeLo wants, Miss CeeLo gets. Ultimately, Estrada continues, if current trends continue, black household wealth is on a path to hit zero by 2053. Claude Anderson said that if we did not start making changes, and we already passed the time limit for what he said back then, that black folks will end up being a permanent underclass family. Maybe that don't bother some people. You know what I'm saying? By 2053, that's 10, 20. I might not even be here. So I'm concerned about the future generations. That's what we be pouring libations for, right? Right? We got to handle our business, family. Because what they're projecting is that by 2053, we will not, our children won't have a leg to stand on. And the question is, what are we going to do? You know what I'm saying? Just sending them to schools that are non-nation builder based is not working, and it has not worked. You know what I'm saying? It's drink your water, get hydrated. I got to keep you healthy. We got to live to 2053, cause you know what I'm saying? Cause we got some work to do. In 1935. The year Social Security began a financial safety net for older Americans. The New Deal program excluded domestic and farm workers, representing nearly a third of the nation workforce in the 1930s. These Americans were also largely people of color. A 2017 publication jointly released by Prosperity Now and the Institute for Policy Studies, The Round to Zero Wealth, tallied that long-time economic exclusion to be approximately $143 billion in 2016 dollars. Fast forward to 2018 and Generation C, because what y'all understand is, a lot of y'all don't understand what Brother Hatim means when I be talking about wealth, right? Y'all think I'm talking about rich. Y'all thinking I'm talking about being able to live like Jay-Z. No, what I'm talking about is one generation being able to pass on all of the value of their work from one generation to the next, and that has been cut off. And with the Great Recession, the money that could have been passed from the boomer generation was terribly curtailed, was smashed, was ruined. So we have no wealth, no money coming from one generation to another. As a black individual, as a black man in America, or black people in America, we are the, I ain't gonna say we aren't the, because some people get offended. I'm not gonna make a blanket statement. But when we deal with money, we have to deal with money in three directions. We have to deal with money in our now. In some cases, we have to pass money to our past, to our parents, to assist them in some form or fashion, and we got to pass money to the future generations. You can't build wealth like that. What wealth is what a generation is able to accumulate right then. I ain't talking about spending money. I'm talking about are able to accumulate right then and are able to pass on to the next generation. So that generation has a head start. So in a sense, there's always a sacrificial generation, right? That are putting their bodies up, that are working in terrible conditions in order to stack a little something so they could pass something on. If it's nothing but a house, if it's nothing but some bonds, if some form of wealth need to be moving from one generation's hands to another generation's hands. What we have said we're going to pass from one generation to another is we're going to pass you education. We're going to pass you higher education. So we consider when we send a student, a young person to school, we consider them inheriting. Then they have to get out and they have to compete with other people who parents not only passed on the education, but they also passed on material wealth. We have to get sometimes we get so spiritual we get stupid. Right? I'm passing on the love of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do that in Israel. They didn't do that in the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? That's not what they did. They passed on wealth. Hell, they went into other people's lands, took other people's lands so that they could have something for the generations to come. We're sitting around here waiting for others to give to us. Not just give to us. See, and what's even crazier, we sit around with people owing us, sitting up there spending our money, looking at us, making us feel bad. You ain't working hard enough, obviously. Your daddy was a bum. This is because you didn't have a father in the home. Ha ha ha. You know what I'm saying? You get what you deserve. It's destiny. It's fate. The only people that leave fate in the hands of the universe or the hands of others are slaves. Slaves have to leave their fate in other people's hands. And family, is that us or is that not us? See, because if we're not slaves, then we need to start getting up and start. Because first off, this whole political piece, we need to smash them. We really need to. I'm just saying, because if, like I said with the newsletter, we need to be able to develop a news network amongst us that like here in Columbus, anybody running for any office, I don't care if you're running for dog catcher, the question need to be asked, what is your stance on reparations? If it's negative, they don't get our vote. We vote for somebody else. We vote for people that's looking out for our interests. So Sister CeeLo has been sending some stuff out. Talking about the Social Security. Again, we were not included. We were excluded by the law, which means that the government is responsible for the legislation that they put out and how it affects others. And anything that we can find where the government has excluded us, that means that the government has to make amends. That's called reparations or repairing of what you have done wrong. Generational. Net worth assets, not liabilities. And black folks, I need y'all to understand this. Credit is not wealth. You can't pass on credit. Business and resources. I was first to graduate college in my family. Now for my daughters, there will be assets, business, resources, and legacy. Good job. Rarely is the economic practice of the Old Testament ever spoken of. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no. We supposed to see, because most of the economic models that a lot of people live with is not the economic model that Jesus lived with. So the hell with even speaking on the Old Testament, how they dealt with economics in the Old Testament. Let's talk about how they deal with it in the New Testament. Many of y'all are not even living the economic practices of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. About to get 3 miles. All right, go and get it in, sis, and be safe out there. Let me go and finish this, and then we're going to get fast forward to 2018. Generation lower wages and benefits translating to nearly a third of black retirees relying solely upon Social Security as a sole source of retirement income for more than half of retirees for all races. Similarly, from 1934 to 1968, widespread redlining in the Federal Housing Administration, low down payments, government-backed mortgages denied blacks and other people of color opportunities to build and transfer wealth from one generation to another. During this 34-year span, only 2% of FHA mortgages were available to people of color in just one city, Chicago. This 3-decade exclusion shortchanged black Chicagoans by $3 billion in 2017. The harm of homeowner disparities added Estrada is especially clear when considering that 2/3 of the net wealth that is held by the middle 60% of families is in the form of home equity, resulting from, among other factors, invested wealth and appreciation. The lack of convenient access to full-service banking was identified by Estrada in the third factor diminishing black wealth. Communities of color, particularly those with low income, frequently lacking access to traditional banking. Often these same communities are where high-cost alternative financial services offering check cash and money orders or petty loans sell their predatory products. Individuals cannot simply save and borrow as necessary to smooth dips and spikes without access to affordable and wealth-building credit, said Estrada. Predatory lending ensnared families already in emergency situations. Since the onset of the Trump administration, multiple federal agencies such as Department of Education and Consumer Financial Protection Bureau have emphasized the need for more consumer information. All right, we almost done. Although in 2017 reported by Prudential Financial Inc., titled The Financial Wellness of America, found that a majority of working Americans suffer from financial stress due to struggles to pay monthly bills and or saving for the future. The corporation represents at the hearing attributed this financial angst to the evolution of retirement and healthcare benefit offerings. Visha Jain, a vice president with Prudential Financial Workplace, and I won't even get on that, Solution Group testified, today's workers are having to assume increased responsibility for their financial security. When coupled with a day-to-day financial obligation, such as a mortgage and student loan debt, it is easy to understand why employees may be experiencing high levels of stress about their financial situation. None of the other persons testifying in the hearing spoke to the continued discrimination that people of color encounter despite federal and state laws calling for equal treatment. But Estrada did. For the purpose of this hearing, I want to underscore that financial literacy cannot, by any means, solve everything. Furthermore, the limits of financial literacy in the context of discussion require that strong regulators and sound consumer protection policy remains at the root for retirement readiness. All right? See, they hit us with the motivation hustle. You're not hustling enough. You're not reading enough. You don't know enough. This is why you suffer. And the fact is, that is not. You know what I'm saying? That's part of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's like, we have an abusive relationship with America. the abuser has not yet accepted the fact that they are abuser, and we as the victim allow the abuser to make us feel as if everything that is happening to us, we did to ourselves. I deserve that. I didn't read about financial literacy. I deserve that. I didn't strive hard enough. You know what I'm saying? I should have been able to do it on that payday loan, or I should have been able to afford some of that stuff, even though my mortgage was higher than the average. And I bought it in a neighborhood that only depreciated because it was redlined. You know what I'm saying? We have to start really being honest here, right? That we that this in this abusive relationship, we have to leave this relationship, or we have to change the terms of the relationship, right? If we're going to be in America, we got to change the terms of the relationship, because we can no longer allow these people to whoop on us and then turn around and be like it's our fault. It's our fault. This is the struggle that I have with my young people, because how am I supposed to go into classrooms and look them in the eyes and tell them about a future that, according to 2053, according to the statistics right now, and I know statistics are fucked up, but according to the numbers that are out right now, that there will be absolutely no wealth in their family by 2053. Nothing passed down from their parents, nothing passed down from their grandparents. They are at zero wealth, which means they are totally exposed. Because family, whether y'all know it or not, economics is a weapon. Economics is part of war. Why do you think they put blockades up around countries? To starve them, to stop the economic flow of resources. There's a blockade around us, and we don't even recognize it. But I'm sorry. All right, so let's get to this. Let's drink this more. Shouts out to Miss Cynthia Johnson. I hope you're enjoying your ambrosia. The story for the night is called, we did those, so we're going to move to the next one. The Truth and the Traveler. This is the story for the night. We'll be having our show, Folktales for Grown Folks, at about 9 p.m. I got to go, so we're going to do this toast. A wayfaring man traveling in the desert met a woman standing alone and terribly dejected. He inquired of her, "Who art thou?" "My name is Truth," she replied. "And for what cause," he asked, "have you left the city to dwell alone here in the wilderness?" She made answer, "Because in former times falsehood was with few, but is now with all men." I need my thunder. I need my... Man, let me read that one more time. Tell your friends, we're going to have a hell of a conversation tonight. After what I just got done reading, we're going to have a hell of a... Listen, a wayfaring man, a traveling man, for those that don't know, in the desert, met a woman standing alone and terribly dejected. He inquired of her, "Who art thou?" "My name is Truth," she replied. "And for what cause," he asked, "have you left the city to dwell alone here in the wilderness?" She made answer, "Because in former times falsehood was with few, but is now with all men." That is going to be the story for our discussion tonight. It's called The Traveler and Truth. Short, concise, but it will change your life, because I'm going in on this one tonight. Family, I'll let y'all hear the music just a little bit because we off, so let's do the first verse. All right, grab your water, family. Let's get it.
Mystic.
Drink your water. Come on now. Come on. Drink your water, but first, take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath. Drink, 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 drink. What should I say? Listen, breathe, live, move, drink. So we're running low. Our equipment is horrible right now. It's acting up. We're gonna play. Let's play this one right here. Finish drinking up your water, family. Let's get the water in so we get this toast.
I praise God as I rock the mic, come on. I praise God as I rock the mic, say what? I praise God as I rock the mic, come on. I praise God as I rock the mic. What situation is pitiful? Blackness is critical, defining our race and mind, not political. I'm strong with force to keep us on course. Using the pyramid build us as my main source. Our children will guide us with ignorance behind us, removing the shades that once had blinded us. So up to the crossroad, straight from my black coat, communing with brothers. Straight from my Mac code, I step in as God with the mic as my ride, helping to raise the black children, they go from a pie. I enter as I'm a step, exit as shimmer step. Now that you know what's up, make sure you watch your step. I rise with the sun, it's a new day begun. Off the walk on my path, it's search of the one. I'm looking for unity, not for no casualties. From working together, we stand for humanity. I want what was given. I'm far beyond 7 because I
Alright, let's get it. So, we got us some ambrosia. We got to stretch this out. Alright, so I'm brewing again soon, but actually I got a lot, so maybe I might need to just start drinking it up. Alright, family, so giving honor to the creator by whatever name you choose to call that creator, we lift up our glass and we salute that creator. We salute the first ancestor from which we come, right? That creator, right? Which means that you are really divine. We're in a struggle. You know what I'm saying? This is a divine struggle, right? So we're going to find a way to, I mean, we always do. All we got to do is grab our principles and move forward. So we lift up our glass and we say, Ashe. From there, family, where do we go? We go to the ones that have made it possible for us to be here. The ones whose shoulders upon which we stand. We're going to read it. Read that list. We got several of them. And I thank everybody for sharing their ancestors with us, building up this ancestral family, this ancestral army that's going to march out before us and help us, you know what I'm saying, make opportunities where there were none before, right? Miles Brown, Miss Ann, Robert the Texana Davis, Herman Brown C, Rosalie Tilly, Georgia William Walter, Christopher Fanny Gasson, Aunt Lena, Uncle Chris, I'm Fiend, Cleveland, Geneva Brown, Margaret Ellis, Wash Ellis, Cecil Ellis, Elvira Brown, Gina Gaines, Herman Brown II, Barbara Twiggs, Wash Ellis Jr., Katie Ellis, Nikki Ellis, Jamon Jones, Jeremiah Toppin, John Fallar, Montague Pittman, No More X, Pat Meyer, Rob, Malika Fakour, Dr. Marianne Williams. Cleveland,
Yeah.
You sleep?
No, sir.
What you working on?
I'm just keep continuing to the third story.
What story?
You know what I mean.
No, I don't.
Continuing through the same thing.
It's real life here, Gye-Nyame Journey. Go and get ready for school, because we late. Kojo Kamal, Elder Farmer, Elder Millie Dixon, Tony Clark, Pastor Yusuf Weston, Elder Ajani, Elder Ron Coleman, Elder Robert Donaldson, Alfred Brofro, Hector Jr., J. Edwards, Carlisle Harris, Grace Lundy, Inez Harris, William Bill Moss, Phyllis Rose, Starling Lucy Wright, Derek L. Pulliam, the Luxter Brother, Miss Edith Brooks Crawley, Miss Marie Nelson, Mr. Frederick Crawley Sr., Miss Jerry Brunson, Mr. Alonzo Johnson, Miss Marie McDowell, Janice Foster, Charles Jordan, Kel Smith, Walter Smith, Richard Trigg, Francis Johnson, Mary Franklin, Jimmy Williams, Daniel Ford, George Gibson, Nana Loretta Clark, Inez McCrae, Fritz Clark, Frankie Justice, Katie Justice, Derek Renderman, Virginia Rogers, Reverend James Smith, Lois Henderson, Calvin Spratling, Mary Elizabeth Walker, Rain Walker Sr., Sarah Jane Carter, Michael Ford Jr., Carolyn D. Russell, Susie B. Smith, Teresa Clay, Melvin Dale Hodge, Jr., Herman Copeland, Mildred Copeland, Jenny Clayburg, Beatty, Sarah Weather, Be the Farmer, Augusta Sue, Cheryl Harvey, Charmaine, Evelyn, Deolis Hasbury, Harry Hasbury, Sr., Leonard Dickinson, T.C. Islam, Terrell Dunbar, Will Thomas, Sarah Berry, Mark Walsh, Merle B. Thorne, Pearl G. Thorne, Ida Johnson, Florence M. Carter, Joanne Thorne, Erica Tricia Lewis, Juanita Wright, Robert Wright, George Wright, Mary Eliza Frederick Davis, Mary Elizabeth Rogers, Mary Esther Keachler Reese, Linda Watson Hammonds, Jarrell Giles Watson, Sparrow, Slimmy Selvin Lewis, Andrew Holmes, Pearl Moore, Percy Moore Jr., Mildred Orange, Booker T. Bowden, Charlie Hunt, Sammy Stover, Hilda Pearson, Sturgeon Thornton, Richard Thornton, Lavinia Hall, Freeman Bankster, Mary Moss, Ophelia Peacock, Willie Thornton, Napoleon Kennedy, Mark Ramsey, Paul Ramsey, Matt Ramsey, David Ramsey, Charles E. Thornton, Frankie Quells, Urania Thornton, Bernice Quells, Ernestine Jackson, Frankie Johnson, Teresa Mormon, Leon Johnson, Charles Bell, Vivian Ramsey, Essie Johnson, Dorita Johnson, Leon Johnson, James W. West Sr., James Parham, Dana Jones, Henry World, James Farmer, Mary Chavez, Leon Grace, Bessie Johnson, Hattie DeBester, Mary Moreland, Paul Moreland, Elder Caleb, Rosemary Martinier, Elder Imatet Wellman, Fred Douglas Triggs Sr., Thelma Triggs, Thomas and Lula Berry, Lacey Allen Ohio, Frank Rustin Davis, Fred Douglas Triggs II, Vina Triggs, Reverend Eddie Moore, Helen Fuller, Eugene Jackson Sr., Richard Ellis, Silas Alexander, Charles Maxwell, Percy May Alexander, Arthur Reynolds, Stanley Lockhart, Ricky Lockhart, William Lockhart, Woodrow Lockhart, Brenda Porter, Deacon Hargrove, Carla Sawyer, Andrew Parker, Doris Donald, Ellis Murphy. DeFriedis Hines, Inez Bostic, Edna Bostic, Winifred Scantleberry, Phyllis Lee, Eugene Spratling, Calvin Spratling, Charles Wooden, Penny Brown, Roy Lee Prithup Jr., Miriam Johnson, Wilbert Longmire, Edith Catney, Janice Carter, Michael Carter, Leanne Pina Carter, Margaret Carter, William Carter, Lisa Jordan, Charles Lee Mosley, Joe Davis, Timothy Butler, Gene Holmes, Dana Jones, Peter Charles, Christy Nichols, Cardinal Robinson, Rosemary Charles, Ada Pearl, Bob Ingalls, Jack Wallace, Warren M. Finch, Warren P. Finch, Tim Ingalls, R.G. Finch, William Billingsley, Jennifer Sensabaugh, Hazel Gasson, Jerry Brantley, Brian Watson Jr., Kaneko Parsons, Jason Cathy, Stacey Trice, Frank Smith, Mother Bertha, Michael Leonard, David Brown, Ruth Carter, June Cox, Ruth Cox, Andrew Paula Cox, Ronald Urban, Judy Hubbard, Irene Johnson, Francis Booth Jefferson, Dan Wilkerson Sr., Emma McClendon, Jerry Doe, Amina Robinson, Mary Nichols, Patricia Williams, Shabaka Teray, Greg G2 Gibson, Donna Hill, Richard Gleavis, Lee Irby, Tommy Irby, Boy Irby, Jim Gaucher, Georgia Haley Johnson, Archie and Mark Armstead, Diane Scott, Edgar Armstrong, Archie Beck, Anna McGill, Charles McDaniel, Christine Cottrell, Aunt Becca, Alice Arnold, Arthur Arnold, Hattie Reed, Charles Reed, Eulin Andrew Baker, Patricia and Edwin Brooks, Gwendolyn and Bob Hatch, Kimball Vernon, Bradley Kim, Janie Harriet Tubman Cates, Spencer Sturgis, Sally Mae Baker, Ethel Baker, Creola Baker, Geneva Baker, Aaron Nino Baby Hatch, Hatch Sr., Mally Miller, Halsey Hatch, Dad Cleveland, Mother Gibson, Alex Nixon, John Bowie, Lester and Richard Saunders, Doretha Ross, Riola Ross, Robert Nelson, Francis Stevenson, Leroy Stokes, Neely Johnson, Fletcher Swan, Maddie and Charlie Scott, Ida Casey, Thomas Cofer, Vivian Stevenson, Mona Ann Lewis, Cornetta Lyman Lewis, John Jackson, William Dallas Lewis, Mae Francis, Chappelle Jackson, Michael Slade, Joanne Perkins, Richard Jackson, Martha Ford Dawson, Big Mama, Nana Harris, Eva Ford, James Harrison, Margaret Towns, Mary Williams, Leroy Q. He Sr., Albert Moore, Miss Vanilla, Albus Motley, Geraldine Elizabeth, Douglas Thompson, Erleton Houston, Lud Alls, Elijah Alls, Jerome Alls, Henry West Staten, Joe Jamel Alls, Ann Pierce, Donald Carter, Lily Green, Nathan Green, Bette Vaughn, John Dewey, Ruth Beard, Tim Butler, Ramey Laura Newton, J.B. Foggy, Thomas Newton Sr., Baba Naeem, Jeanette Sanders, Jerry C. Saunders, Roy Pruitt, H.J. Bradley Sr., Henry Wilson, Rufus Jenkins, Minnie Wilson, Catherine Sanders, Laurel Ellis, Elizabeth Battles, Henrietta Irby, Mildred Armstead, Margaret Armstead, Catherine Anthony, Ruby Brown, Charles Walker Sr., Charlie Walker, Cecil Russell, Diane Urban, Hiram Phillips, William Ford Jr., Margaret Logan Phillips, Barnett, Lee Urban Sr., Michael Urban, Ozella Watson, Hugo Watson, John Caldwell Sr., Robbie Lee Caldwell, Nevaeh Mitchell, Ryan McCormick Sr., Sabrina Easley, Rayshawn Easley, Jabea McCormick, Barbara Ann Reed, Dorothy Ann Reed, John Reed, Edward R. Benson Sr., Ethel H. McNair, Lois Fernandez, Jacqueline Broadus, Reginald Oliver, Mazarin Carper, and George Swan, Edmonia Grayson, Charles Scott, Charles H. Scott. Shouts out to all of our ancestors. We raise our guys, and we say Ashe. From their family, we move into the present moment. We salute this moment. Right now, we are in Kujichagulia. That's my day. All right. Kujichagulia. I am a Kwabanan. I was born on this day. For those that don't know, Kujichagulia is self-determination. That's also the M7 for the day. Justice is demonic principle of the day. Indigo is the color, so I got on a black shirt because, indigo is hard to get. I don't know what an indigo t-shirt would look like. I don't even know if it would be able to hold the color for that long. Correspondence is the Hermetic law. Male day, male name, once again, is Kwabena. Female day is Abina. That's Gina G. Alright? From the African Center Culture Virtue and Value System, provided by the most of the Emancipation Circles, which I think we will be having a session this week. We will be having our meeting, our warrior training this week, right? In Wolof, what we're looking at today is Kursa, which means self-respect and respect for others. In the Khan ethics, generosity and beneficence. And in traditional Aruba, we're looking at Ifarabale, calmness. Alright? So, family, in this moment, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to run through the emotions real quick. Mad, sad, or scared. We got the 3 emotions where we should be striving to be peaceful, powerful, and joyful. We got to find ways to maintain that, right? That's the natural state that we're supposed to be in, feeling peaceful, powerful, and joyful, right? But of course, we got things like mad, sad, and scared that pull us off the thing. All the other emotions are combinations of these 6, right? We got mad. When you find yourself mad, ask yourself, how have I been violated? I need to set limits, reestablish boundaries once you find out how you've been violated. Sad, what have you lost? Ask yourself, what have I lost? Right? I need support, space, time to grieve, and to let go. Scared. When you scared, ask yourself, what's the danger? I need protection, support, reassurance. Now, remember, self-mastery, personal development are communal things. They're communal things, family. All right? So we have to work together in order to move towards our higher selves. So we need to start forming tribes, right? Where we can hold each other accountable, where we can remind each other, where when somebody has a loss, you know what I'm saying, and they need support, they know that they could come to us. Not only can they go to their blood family, but they can also pull on the tribe to make sure they get what they need. So family, we move from there, from the present moment. I forgot to play it, but I'm going to play it right now.
Damn, Ron, come on! What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Family, we got to take that very seriously because we look at these numbers. I know the saying. There are 3 types of lies. There's a lie, there's a goddamn lie, and there's statistics, right? But you still can use statistics to kind of see where you're going, because some of us have experienced numbers where we are able to look at some numbers and be able to predict what was going to happen. So we can't discount the possibility that some of these numbers that's coming out about our condition are real. All right, so in this moment, we got to work so we can leave something for our children. So we lift up our glass and we say, Ashe. From there, we move to the future generations. Shouts out to Miss Cynthia Johnson. I see you out there, right? Future generations, right? We toast for our children in advance, knowing that we're going to work to make sure that they have an inheritance. Make sure that we are passing on some wealth to them, all right? You know what I'm saying? Passing on some knowledge to them. You know what I'm saying? And we say, Ashe, not even last but not least. This is not, we toast all of our relations. We say Ashe. Then from there, family, we move straight into that selfish libation. You know what it is you need, family. Take that time. Toast yourself. Get what you need. And while you doing that, I'm going to take this moment to toast the most powerful being in the room, and that's you. Take time to toast you, because the future is waiting for you. You know what I'm saying? To get busy in this now, right? The world is waiting for you. You are what the entire world has been waiting for. I know you think it's somebody else, but I'm here to tell you, it's you. It's you, all right? And with your ancestors working with you, family, you know what I'm saying? Providing you the air in your wings, you know what I'm saying? With the Creator, You know what I'm saying? That already laid the foundation for you. Family, what can stop you? What can stop us? Right? So we make a great team. So we lift up the glass and we say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Family, I wish you peace, power, and joy. You go and have a great day, because I'm running behind by about 25 minutes. So family, I will catch you later. Y'all have a great morning. Great Kujichagulia. All right, Spreaker. Peace out, fam.